So I want to talk about this fish. Her name is Sushi. She's 3 years old, and she's geriatric. Um, I bought her in September of 2023. She's probably one of my favorite fish. So so my parents used to breed Bettas. They had a business, an actual business doing it. And then when I was younger and a teenager, I kind of got into it as a hobby, for fun more than anything else. And then college and moving away and stuff happened, and I had to rehome a lot of my precious pets. And that was kind of the end of it until summer 2023. So it was probably June or July, and I was in Petco with a friend. My friend was getting like cat treats or something for her cat, or I think that's what it was. And because I still liked fish and liked looking at the aquariums and liked reminiscing about a hobby I was no longer involved in, so I just go take a look, and I come across this Betta, not this one, but another one, a veil tail, steel blue, with red wash on what was basically a Cambodian base. Sushi here is an orange fin Cambodian who's still doing all right. She's really spry. She was flaring at and irritating one of my other Cambodian females earlier this morning. Yeah, she's definitely thinning out, slowly losing weight despite feeding her about twice a day. So I would say that for this girl, the end is creeping ever closer. Anyways, back to my story. So I find this veil-tail Betta, steel blue, kind of pastel-y pink wash on the fins, Cambodian base, so there's no melanin, so she's a very kind of pale fish with this iridescence and red. And she was gorgeous, and like I said, I got her from Petco, and I had her for 3 years, and she was Princess Cotton Candy, and she passed away very unexpectedly and very suddenly about 2 weeks ago. She's still she's in a baggie in my freezer right now while I figure out where I'm gonna plant her. So I think kind of part of the reason why I'm doing this video more than anything else is just to kind of I guess memorialize these fish while I still can. I always wanted to do a video about Princess Cotton Candy, and I never did. And after 3 years, she's gone now. And Sushi is my only other surviving 3-year-old matriarch. She had a sibling named Tempura, who was also a orange fin Cambodian. And she came in as like a bonus fish, and she had a facial deformity, and her spine was elongated. She had issues, and way smarter than this diva here. This diva here, it took like almost 2 years to convince her that bloodworms were a legitimate food source, whereas Tempura, by contrast, would eat anything and everything up to and including pellets and dry food, which I don't give my fish anymore. They only get brine shrimp, bloodworms, daphnia, and live mosquito larvae when I'm feeling really generous and want to take the time to go out and harvest those from the pond out back. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share, this lovely fish who's had I've had her for 3 years. And Tempura, despite all of her issues, I had for almost 2. So I got her, these fish came in, And within 2 weeks of being here, Tempura developed a case of Popeye. So I had to quarantine her and take care of that. And then, had her for, almost 2 years. And she just kind of progressively started slowing down more and more. Feeding her twice a day. She was never putting on weight. She was constantly looking really thin. I think very briefly she fattened up, very briefly, for a 2 or 3 month period. In the middle of it all, she kind of started to look a little bit more fatty and robust. And that it didn't last. So yeah, Tempura just had issues, and after about 2 years, I just ended up having to euthanize her, because it got to a point where the quality of life just wasn't there anymore, and it just wasn't fair. But Sushi's still here. She's still pretty spry, considering she's 3 years old, geriatric. And I plan on, just letting her live out her glory days as long as she wants. She's in as you can see here, it's just like a 1 gallon container. It's not much. And there's some Java moss in there. There's this really nice fat cryptocorn going crazy. A few floaters up top. She's been blowing bubbles. Like I said, she's been flaring at my other females. Yeah, and she's been in this setup more or less for 3 years. I've had to do some replantings a couple of times. She used to have a snail buddy in here, and that snail, she outlived the snail. But yeah, just quality food and quality, and water changes. I'm not gonna say, hey, yeah, you should, I'm never gonna say to somebody who's never had Bettas, yeah, sure, try this. No, I just wanted to talk about this fish because, I just, like I said, I had wanted at some point to kind of do a little video about Princess Cotton Candy and how she kind of got me back into the hobby, and let me zoom in. Nope. Okay, we're really not going to zoom in on the fish. No, she's right here, and apparently my phone wants to look at that cryptocorn so badly. Yeah, I really wanted to do a video about Princess Cotton Candy, and, I lost that opportunity. So I'm doing this video about Sushi because, like I said, she's my other 3-year-old Betta, and, she's been one of my favorite pet fish. Never bred her. For a while I wanted to, but she always kind of was bigger than my males, and then she was always very even-keeled, very docile, and I don't know. Her temperament was also kind of asymmetrical to a lot of other fish I had. That's not quite the word I'm looking for, but no, she's just been a really good pet fish. And I'm just letting her enjoy her golden years, such as they are. And I'll be doing a proper kind of fish room tour at some point. But I just wanted to make this video, while I still could, while she's still here. And that's just kind of it. And of course, she's on this side. Oh my gosh, where are Sushi? I can see you, and yet I cannot see you sometimes. Goodness gracious. You would think in a 1 gallon round container I would know how to film a fish. Clearly I do not. But hey, check out this really nice cryptocorn that my phone is still trying to zoom in on. No, we're zooming in on Java moss, and some Worcester tang in the tank behind Sushi, which is super cool. There's nothing in that tank behind Sushi other than a whole bunch of plants and paramecium and daphnia. It's oh golly, that tank has been planted now probably for about 2 years. Um, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, this is a 3-year-old geriatric Betta. Um, you know, living out her remaining time. Also, yeah, I know there's like plastic wrap on the top, but for those who are worried, there are holes in it and lots of them for oxygen exchange. I have very little faith in my fish and their willingness to jump to their deaths, so that was my attempt at idiot proofing the containers. Anyways, yeah, this is her at 3 years of age.